Hello, this is the Captain Paxo, back with some more Dark Souls Remastered PvP. Been a long time coming. Sorry for the delay. I've been a bit rusty playing some PvP, and these are my adventures in trying to remember how to play Dark Souls PvP. Pretty much just in between me building characters, you know? Like, as much as I want to just continue just finishing off my builds, getting them all to like soul level 120, I just can't help myself from trying to play the PvP, you know? It's just too much fun. And with poise, you can do that. And let me just say, if someone's Estusing and they have enough poise to be able to tank it, be careful of mashing, because they can come out of that Estus animation and immediately parry you, thanks to how the parry timings are in the remaster. So be very careful of that. I had someone do that to me the other day. Ooh, not really sure how that was a backstab, but there you go. That's another thing, is I need to really get used to this new connection and what I can do and what I can't do. Like, what are the things that I can get away with? Like, I was rushing towards the backstab there, but not quite getting it, because this guy's quite defensive. He's playing his fight quite well, spacing me out and all that sort of good stuff, putting his back against the wall. And there's going to be some really weird backstabs coming up, so that's going to be fun. Like that one. That one made sense, though. Like, I just wasn't fast enough on the R1, and I thought he was going to attack, and then... yeah. That's all she wrote. But yeah, I've been trying to make all of my builds to soul level 120, or all of my current builds, but I can't stop PvPing. I love the PvP in this game far too much. I'm always like, you know, I should really be getting this character to New Game Plus, but I could be doing PvP instead. So, you know, building characters has been kind of a slow process, unfortunately, but you know, it's all good fun. We've got plenty of time, you know, all the time in the world, in fact. This character that you're watching right now is going to be pretty much just a pure strength build with a little bit of dex splurged in there. I think like 18 dexterity just to use the Black Knight weapons, and then going all out into strength, like 50 strength, so I can use Havel's Great Shield. Because the idea of this character was actually to be able to use every Great Shield in the game, and then just go to the depths, that little corridor to the bonfire room, Gravelord there, and just turtle poke people. Just be the biggest asshole you could possibly imagine. A massive nuisance sort of thing. And also to try and showcase just how ridiculous shields are, and why Dead Angly was actually kind of a good thing in PvP. Like, as much as it didn't make much sense, half of the tech in Dark Souls doesn't make much sense and isn't explained at all by the game, but it works in the PvP, and you kind of just have to get used to it and understand that the PvP works by many different rules to the PvE. And this is about to get really nasty, as this guy's spamming the R2 with the Drake Sword. That thing must be getting low down on its durability. I managed to kill the Phantom, but I didn't kill the Post, so I lose. I give him a good run for their money, though. And then this is my Moonblade build, which is going to have two variations on it. One of it's going to be like a health regen build, like I did with Dark Souls 3, where I use Replenishment, Sanctus, and then a Lifesteal weapon. This is not the character that I wanted to create. I kind of messed up some of the stats, so I recreated it. With the other side of the coin being a Dark Moon Blade, fucking crazy ass, like anti-gank build, you know, Dark Moon Blade washing pole, probably like Mask of the Mother, like Ninja Flip or whatever, just being an absolute dirtbag Dark Moon, you know, your classic Dark Moon. Which I'm looking forward to using this build again, because it is quite good, but at this current point, I didn't have enough vitality or defense to actually be able to get the full use out of it, as this guy's throwing pyromancies locked on. Not the best idea, because you'll see in a bit what happens I can just walk around them. You want to unlock when it comes to pyromancies. If you don't unlock, then it's going to be bad news bears, because someone is going to just roll straight through you. But anyway, what was I talking about? Can't quite remember. Something to do with the health regen build. Good fun. Don't have a lot of defense to really make good use of it, though. Which is why in this clip I've got this Ring of Steel protection on, which is a bit of a dumb thing, because if you know the armor that I'm wearing, which is like brigand gauntlets, leggings, dingy top, and what is it? The Black Thief hood. I've got 0 poise. So the Wolf Ring would really be useful right about now, but I don't. I'm using Ring of Steel protection because I want to be able to tank more, but tanking more doesn't really help if, you know, I get stunlocked to death, does it? Oh dear. This was an interesting guy. I try and go for the parry. He goes for the R2 on the Zwei, and it's like, you gotta give him credit for being ballsy, but that move has so much recovery. I think that's going to be one of the most jarring things for Dark Souls 3 veterans to get into Dark Souls 1, is the recovery frames. Pretty much everything has double the recovery frames as it does in Dark Souls 3. So it's going to be pretty hard to get used to that. And of course the magnetic backstabs. And we got ourselves a 2v1, which should be interesting. So let's see what I can't do with this. Like I said, I don't have a lot of life, I don't have any poise, but these guys are using relatively slow weapons, so even if I was using the Wolf Ring, they'd still stagger me. So in this case, Ring of Steel protection is actually a little bit better. I'm trying to circle for the backstab here. That wasn't a backstab? Oh my god. That's crazy. Oh, this is fun as well. I haven't been too confident in my parries, so this is pretty much what I've been doing when I get the opportunity, is just chaining backstabs. I should be able to go for the parry like on this weapon because it's so slow. That was a little bit too late, and now I'm backstabbed. Ooh, I need to get out of here and probably heal as well. What are you doing? You're gonna get backstabbed here if you're not careful, which is why I'm rolling through them. Like, if you ever see me roll in between two players, that's to try and like save myself from being backstabbed. Because the idea is if neither of them are facing my back, if I have my back to neither of them, then, you know, I can't get backstabbed. Oh! I don't know if I tried to roll through that, or if I tried to parry, or an input failed me, or something like that, but we get the cocky point down. Because they think they're good players, and for all intensive purposes, they beat me, so, you know, it is what it is. Oh dear. This is a pretty nasty hallway to fight in, but I should be more confident in trying to just mash opponents down with the server, because even if you hit their shield, you still get the lifesteal effect. As this guy was winging one too many parries and got punished for his overzealousness. I don't know why I used an Estus there. I guess I thought like I wasn't going to get an extra Estus if I did that. I don't know. I need to test that out. I really didn't need to use the Estus there. I hardly lost any life, and the Sanctus was going to replenish more than enough HP. There's another Gold Phantom. Good God. Get a backstab on that guy. Am I going to try and chain it? I do try and chain it. Don't quite get it. I'm going to try and chase him down to finish him off. This guy looks like he's wearing low poise. Ah, not on my watch. Oh, you got to be so careful with Estus in this game. Oh, what a parry. Walked straight into it. But, you know what he's going to do now? He's got one parry. Yeah. He's going to immediately try and go for it again. Which I give you balls for it, but you got to be really careful about parry spamming in this game. It's not like Dark Souls 3 where, again, you can just recover out of it stupid fast. And this guy's not in the bonfire room? Well, let's go find him. Well, actually, it does turn out that he was in the bonfire room. I guess he was hiding or something, being all sneaky-like. Trying to summon a phantom, and he hasn't managed to get one out. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe they have like a time limit or a counter limit or something like that. I don't know. But we've got a fight now against a katana user, which is pretty scary for this build because, like I said, no poise. And my toggles are not on point. I don't even have a backup weapon in case I do want to toggle. And this guy's playing fairly defensively, so I'm trying to do some reverse rolls to try and get behind him. He's moving around a little bit too much for me to actually be able to make any use out of it. He's backing up too much for me to really be able to get a backstab on him, and I don't have the poise to be able to poise backstab him, and I'm not confident in my ability to parry. And that bleed is building up, so I've got a bit of a predicament on my hand. I'm really not too sure what I'm going to do. I have to get confident in my parries, or else I'm just going to have to win this guy out by sheer force of attrition, you know? I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but he's two-handed and he's pretty confident. And I managed to catch him with a running R1. That was probably phantom range on his end. You'll notice, like, people sometimes don't roll out of certain attacks that they get hit by, and it's probably because it was phantom range on their end. It didn't look like it on your end, but then when you get hit by phantom range, it didn't look like it on your end, or on their end, sorry. So this guy's AFK. You can actually see him up there. See him? Little head poking through the grate. It's kind of hard to see, but I see him. I see you, you bastard. I know I said in the previous video that I normally like to mess around with people who are AFK, but I did not have much remorse for this guy. I don't know, I guess I was in a bad mood or something. I was just like, you know what, I just want to kill you, you know, you've wasted my time. I want to get an actual fight, and you just get out of here. Oh dear. Ooh, this was an interesting one. So immediately we've got 3 people. I pop on my replenishment because I know this is going to be a bit of a fight. Try and immediately go to buff and get the Darth Vader shrug. You got to be careful about that. If you buff with anything and then immediately go to apply another buff, sometimes you'll do that shrug. So you have to give it half a second. Oh, Black Knight Halberd does not mess around. And I'm spamming roll here, just praying that I don't get killed. Run up the stairs to recuperate, get some health back, turn around so they can't backstab me, and they're running away? Oh, I didn't get the plunge attack. They're running to the boss. So that's fine, you know, running to the boss. I'm so mad that I accidentally pointed down. I thought that, because the wave is on the one to the left, but I reassign it to the middle one, and I forgot that I reassigned it to the middle one. So I went to do the one to the left, and I pointed down. I was like, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to wave. I wanted to be like, bye-bye. Gestures learnt, right? This guy seems pretty confident in his Black Knight straight sword. Let's see if we can't do something about that. Getting some nice stun locking going on there. As this butcher knife guy has got some pyromancy, so we've got to be careful about that. Phantom's going for a backstab, so we can punish that. And straight into another backstab. Watch this as well. It's like a fucking chain of backstabs. Or train. It's just like, oh, you didn't go back to heal. What are you doing? You had an opportunity to heal. It's so dangerous. There's me toggling because I thought I was going to get stun locked. He should have tried to stun lock me, because he probably would have won this. But then I can stun lock him as well, so it's pretty dangerous. As I managed to catch him on the roll. That was kind of interesting. Good fun. Oh, it's nice to be back in Anor Londo, I have to say. This is my favourite area to PvP, because you find a whole variety of different characters. You find gankers, you find co-opers, you find solo hosts, you find people who are looking to duel and that sort of good stuff. Mostly co-opers is what you find, because Smoran Ornstein is a tough fight. But you do get some pretty interesting characters. Went for the parry there, because whenever you and your character kind of exchange a weird dance around each other's backs, people tend to hit the R1, so you can kind of bait that out and then parry it if you're on point, but I was not on point, and that guy got stun locked, because the server does a lot of poise damage. I'm not sure what amount of poise damage it does, but it's a lot. Right, it's probably more than 40. It's pretty darn good. I mean, it's the curved sword equivalent of a great sword, so it would probably have to be somewhere like 50, I would think. Look at this guy with the Giant's Halberd and a... Ooh, that's a bit of a heavy attack you're going for there, buddy. And there's this guy, fucking Havels and Giants. How much poise do you need? So I'm like, I need to get out of here. I need to reacquaint the situation here. Was not expecting that guy to close the door, but he tries to roll away. Bad decision right there. This could be pretty nasty if I'm not careful, because both of the weapons that are being used here are really dangerous. Oh, get the parry! I got hit as well, which for all intents and purposes should have stunned me, but because I hit that R1 input, I managed to get it off. That was kind of interesting. It looked like I was going for the host there, but I was actually going for the Phantom who was healing. Do it. Do it, I dare you. And another one. And you got to be so careful about swinging those swords around. They will get you backstabbed all day, every day. It's ridiculous. So now it's just me and the host. And I'm going to try and parry him, but again, my confidence in parries is nil point. It's non-existent. Which is something that I really need to get used to. It's like, the parry timing is so different in the remaster than it is in the Prepare to Die. I'm so used to the half-second delay on the Prepare to Die that now I don't want to parry because I know I'll cock it up, but I probably won't cock it up if I put my mind to it. And that guy goes for a backstab, as both of our defenses are pretty good, so I open that up. Had a bit of a cock up with the audio for the rest of the video. So I decided to put a little bit of music in the background to try and distract you from the fact that there's no sound. Shh, don't tell anyone there's no sound. As I'm dueling with my current favourite build. Oh no! Oh, that's so bad. And I stand here like, he should heal because I hit him in the middle of a taunt, which is really bad manners. In a gank situation, I would have no remorse, but because this is a duel, I summoned this guy into my world, so it's like, I wish that guy had healed, but he tried. I felt really bad for that because you can't cancel out of gestures. But anyway, this is a intelligence, pretty much a pure intelligence build, like 50 intelligence, 16 strength to be able to use the Black Knight shield and the Moonlight Greatsword. It's got 16 attunement for 4 attunement slots, and then the rest are just dumped into endurance and vitality. 45 endurance to be precise, to be able to fast roll with all of this equipment and use the Ring of Favor and Protection. This is in its not quite complete state. This is like soul level 111, but it's still pretty competent. This guy's using his Wrath. I gotta give this guy props as well, using the Golem Axe. I actually survived that. Oh man, a better me would have put on the red Tearstone ring at this point, and also a better me would have actually, you know, used spells. But early days with this build. I'm still not too sure what I'm doing with it at this point, but the concept of it is like fire and ice. Like the name of this build is Hell and Soul, like the Norse goddesses, I think they are. So I got Homing Crystal Soul Mass, White Dragon Breath, Great Fireball, not Chaos Fireball because that would require one too many attunement slots for my liking, and Great Combustion. And the idea is to just try and do a bit of fire and a bit of ice. You know, got the Moonlight Greatsword for the bit of a crystal kind of ice thing going on, and then the Black Knight shield because it's all burnt up and all that sort of stuff. Crystalline Helmet because again, half frozen, half not frozen. I'm really happy with how this build turned out. But I just need more practice with it because, I mean, White Dragon Breath, you saw right there, very difficult to use, and without 45 dexterity, the cast speed is ridiculously low. But I didn't want to put any points into dexterity because this isn't a dex int build, this is a pure int build. I have no use of 45 dex other than cast speed, which, you know, as useful as it might be, I think I can make do without it, especially considering that my armor is not all that great, so I would quite like to, you know, have some vitality. Dear. As we've got another dude, this guy's got a blood shield, which, it's an interesting choice. It's not like a super common shield, as this guy wants to fight the other dude. So we let him. This, what's his face? The guy with the Burger King mask and the claymore. I have to give this guy props, because I summoned him into my world 3 times and defeated him all 3 times, and he was still putting his summon sign down. Like, I know how frustrating it can be to get defeated by someone, put your summon sign down, and then immediately get resummoned by that same person, only to get defeated by them again, pretty decisively as well, and then for you to put your summon sign down again, and then get summoned by him again. It's not a great feeling, because you know you're probably going to lose. I mean, it's a great learning experience to kind of teach you, like, you're not going to be able to get away with this, you're not going to be able to get away with that, and it's a good opportunity to see how other players play, but it is very defeating when you get defeated that decisively that many times. But I gotta give him props, because he was still putting his summon sign down, you know? As he gets cleaned up pretty decisively by the Boulder Side Sword dude, who's playing pretty unlocked, which makes me think that this guy might be a Dark Souls 3 player, you know? As he heals up and we can engage in my fight. So I decided to throw out a reverse roll just to see what he does. He goes for a parry on the roll attack, doesn't quite get it. Do a bit of unlock play into a running R1, into a regular R1, into an R2. I could have stun-locked him into multiple R1s, but when I'm in a duel environment, I generally trying to not do that. I try to do something a little bit fancier than that. You know, try to do something a bit more interesting. But I wasn't really getting a lot of traffic in the Undead Burg, unfortunately, so I decided to try and invade. Well, mostly because I'd actually already killed Taurus Demon in this playthrough, so oops. But new game +2, Taurus Demon is not dead, as this guy gets absolutely roasted, and I need to repair my Moonlight Greatsword. Felt pretty bad for that guy as well, so have some souls. And we're back with this guy again, Cooler Sun. Props to this guy, absolute champion. He might not be the best player in the world, but he's trying. So you can't really like say too much against him, because he's trying, god damn it. And maybe one day he'll get to a point where he is actually pretty good, because this is where I started off, you know, getting completely roasted and shit-faced against some really good players in the Burg. I couldn't get any traction going, I couldn't get anything done, so I just stuck to random invasions, and now here I am today, you know, throwing free aim fireballs, still failing at them, but trying all sorts of crazy stuff. I wouldn't exactly call myself a great Dark Souls PvPer either, but this is the game that I spent the most time PvPing, and it's the game that I've had the most fun PvPing in, so I would say I'm pretty confident in it. And of course there's a lot of new players to this, so relatively speaking, I guess I am a good player, but you know. Anyway, enough like self-gloating or whatever. Is that the right word? I don't know. All I'm trying to say is, you know, this guy is trying, and because he's trying, there is a distinct possibility that he will get good. You know, eventually he'll get confident with the game, eventually he'll actually be able to pull off some really cool techniques and tactics and just be an absolute blast to play with, you know? And that's my hopes, at least. See if we can't split our soul mass right there. I've learnt of another technique with the soul mass where you just eke yourself in range of your opponent, and then you eke yourself out, and it kind of glitches the the soul mass, so that what your opponent sees with the soul mass doesn't relate to what you see on your screen. And for anyone wondering, when it comes to Dark Souls PvP, what you see on your screen is all that matters. As long as your attack lands on your opponent gets hit. That's how phantom range exists, you know? And it's essentially just putting phantom range on your soul mass. It's pretty cheeky and very difficult to do, very inconsistent, and you can't really tell if it's worked or not on your screen, but you know, it can enable you to get some pretty filthy damage off on people. As this guy's swinging his halberd, his Black Knight halberd, like a straight sword. If you're wondering how to do this, it's thanks to internet connection. It's nothing to do with player control at all, you know. It just happens sometimes, as I forget that I remap my jump button and I get indicted, which is a good thing! Getting indicted is a good thing. People make it out to be like, oh my god, he indicted me. Wow, what a sore loser, right? And yeah, it could be part of that, but it also helps the Dark Moon Covenant exist, because without indictments, then there's nobody to Dark Moon. As oh man, I get absolutely roasted. I feel like on any other day I could have beaten them, but on that day, I just didn't. That's all there is to it. This one might piss some people off, but it is what it is. So I invade this dude, and he's using a Dark Silver Tracer and really looking for the backstab, because he's got a Hornet's ring on, and I'm thinking, really, Hornets? He goes for the chain, but I know how to escape the chain, so I'm gonna heal. If you have something against healing in 1v1s, then I'm sorry, but I was in a pretty bad mood against this guy because he's using a Hornet's Ring with a Dark Silver Tracer, and he didn't look like he was looking for a fight. Like, he looked like he was just happened to get invaded. So I'm going to give him something that he gave me, which is a backstab, and I know he knows how to escape a chain because he knows how to do a chain, so I get him with a Wake Up Moonlight. And give him a point up, because I wasn't best pleased with that. If you're wondering, I don't take well to Hornet's rings at any level, you know, especially if it's in a 1v1 situation, because I just sort of think, like, why do you need that? Are you not here to like try and test your skill? And even more so in low level invasions. This was a really interesting fight actually, because the guy popped Karmic Justice, which, if you don't know, when you take a certain amount of damage with Karmic Justice, it gives off an explosion that deals a shit ton of damage. So it's like you want to get your opponent to be aggressive on you, but then he uses Dark Moon Blade, which makes people very defensive. And you know what he's going to do? He's just going to mash R1, which led to me parrying him. So, interesting build, but I'm not really sure what you're trying to go for there. But, as I get Gravelorded here, I'm going to do some low-level PvP at some point, but I have to speak out against a lot of people who've been doing low-level PvP recently. Like, a lot of low-level PvP videos that I've seen. Most of them, people are using the Gravelord Greatsword, which is like, okay, fair enough, that is a ridiculously powerful weapon. That's the closest thing you can get to a Chaos Reinforced Club, which is kind of disgusting and will most certainly one-shot people if you hit them with a backstab. But then people have been in dragon form as well, which, if you use your bare fist to backstab someone with dragon form in low-level PvP, you will one-shot them most of the time. And then I saw someone who had the audacity to have all of that and the Hornet's Ring. It's like, yo, chill, just chill. It's a bit overkill, isn't it? Can't you just, like, no, I don't know, not do that? Maybe do something, like, that, like, my god, do you really want to win that much in low-level PvP? I don't know. But I roll off pretty badly there. But, yeah. There'll be more PvP to come, as some of my builds are finally finished. Well, one of my builds is finally finished, Hell and Soul, and my other builds are still works in progress, and I'm going to do some low-level PvP at some point. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.